morning, everyone. Chad here with Earthworks. I just want to touch on a few things that we are either experiencing in our yard or based on the transition of the season, what you can be looking for, and then how you can kind of handle those things as they do come up. The main thing that we are seeing right now on a lot of yards is brown patch fungus, a brown ring, and on the very outside of that ring will have a different color where it's a little more orangey-ish brown. That means that it's active. If you have that in your yard, you want to do a number of things with it. One, you want to treat it with a fungicide. Typically, like we'll go with a granular fungicide on those spot treating. For example, all of our lawn maintenance crews right now, they have a granular fungicide on the truck so that when we're at a customer's yard, if they see it, they can treat that outer ring and make it to where that fungus is inactive. So it's just a super convenient way as opposed to always mixing up tanks and trying to apply it, make sure you do it at the right rate. You can simply chicken feed that out in those areas. So you'll want to do that. The other thing that you'll want to do is not mow that area that week. You want to give it about 7 to 10 days for that fungus to become inactive. Depending on how it reacts, you may want to do a second application, but then after that, then you can mow. A problem that we see quite often if someone doesn't realize what they're doing is they see that area. Sometimes it becomes more defined after you mow. They see it, then if they're going to treat, then they treat it at that time. The problem with that though is by mowing that fungus, all of those spores and everything is up in the mower, and now you're basically, if you follow your mower tracks down, you're going to see all of that fungus then reappear the following week, and then you just kind of continue this cycle that you can't ever really get ahead of. So treat it, make sure that it is inactive, and then you can mow that area. What fungicides do is they bring the fungus within an acceptable level so that they don't cause problems. Fungus is a soil-borne pathogen, so once you have it, you'll typically always have it, unless you get in there and you dig out all of that soil there, and then replace it with different soil and then resod. But if you don't do that, and typically that isn't necessary, but it will continue to reappear each year. So when you see those areas once, just know that more than likely they're going to come back the next year. Treat it with a fungicide, make it inactive, and then really avoid mowing those areas so that you're not spreading it and making your problems larger and larger. If you haven't put out the nitrogen yet or got that down on the ground, you have missed the boat. It is too late. Don't do it now, because fungus right now is alive and well out there. That nitrogen feeds the fungus, and then it is going to be super happy. So if you haven't put out the fertilizer, don't do it now. If you still want a green yard, you can still achieve it, but just stick more with an iron application to kind of get that real green up, and then you don't get all of the downside that you will with nitrogen. Speaking of green up, as we transition into the cooler months, if you want to continue to have a green yard, you do always have the option of putting out a winter rye. So right now, like UF does recommend that you can put out a winter rye. Now is the time, right? Because you still want it cooling down. You want it warm enough though for those seeds to germinate. They can germinate, they can start to come to life, and then once we really get cold, all that rye really takes off. There's some controversy. UF does recommend it. You can probably find other sites that will say don't do it, that it causes problems with competition of the turf come spring. The rye's there, your St. Augustine or Bermuda or whatever is trying to come back, and it has to fight against the rye. Both sides are right. So UF's right, you want to put it out, you want to have a green yard all year long, you can do it. The other sites are right, that can it cause issues for your yard later on, thinner turf and all of that? They are right. What's the answer? The answer is this. So you put out the winter rye, you have a green yard all year long, or all winter long, I'm sorry, and then come springtime, there's an ideal timing, right? That just before the turf is going to be coming back to life, as the soil temperatures are rising and reaching that ideal temperature for all of the stuff to come out of dormancy, that you're going and you are hitting with a blanket herbicide to take out all of that winter rye. So all of it's dead, all of it's gone, everything comes back to life, and then your turf has no competition, and then you have the best of both worlds. The key to that though is the timing. The soil temperatures, applying the herbicide at the right time to make sure that you take the rye out. If you miss that boat, if you don't do it, the rye will die out on its own. As temperatures rise, rye it dies. But then it goes to those other sites, example like where it's there, if it's there 6-7 weeks in, after spring has started, The turf has had to fight that the entire time. So once the rye does die out, you are gonna have thinner turf, and then that will, you know, that'll be something you'll have to combat then. So just time it right. Make sure you take that rye out just before things come up. If you're not sure of the timing of all of those things and when to apply it and soil temperatures, all of that, that's where we come in. And then one final option though, to get that green yard that UF does recommend or throws out there, is to just do turf paint. It's a dye that you can put out on your turf. You'll have a really green yard. There are some downsides to it. It can rub off on your shoes. You always have a fear of it. You can walk on it and then you walk into your house. If you have carpet, especially lighter carpets, you could track that into your house. So we can do it. We've done it. If you ever need it, you can let us know and we'll absolutely be able to take care of it for you. But there are some limitations and downside to it. But if you have any questions on anything of that you want to do, whether it's putting out the rye, the fungicides, the timing of the herbicides and all of that kind of stuff, and you want to go ahead and do that stuff, do it, take care of it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can go to our website and submit pictures and questions there. You can comment on this video below. You can call our shop at 996-0712 and we'd be happy to help you. But until next time, best of luck.